Inside Leominster is brought to you through the generous support of Colonial Insulation Company, residential and commercial insulation and fireproofing services, specializing in blown-in cellulose as well as spray foam insulation. For more information, visit their website, colonialinsulation.com. And by Medical Arts Hearing Instruments, 52 West Street in Leominster. Locally and authentically providing better hearing and quality of life since 1978. www.donotshout.com.
Yikes. Hello and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, the mayor, and I'm trying to get us so that I can see if anybody has any questions. And by all means, we're live tonight. And this is a special edition of Inside Leominster. And we kind of bundle it in with our daily afternoon update. But we're here and we're live. And if you'd like to call us, the phone number is right there, 978-537-7760. That's the number. And Carl's going to kind of move the camera around, right, Carl? No, I'm just going to lighten you up. Lighten me up. There you go. It's looking a little dark. Okay. Anyway, so any questions that you have, open. Lines are open for an hour. You can ask anything you want at 978-537-7760, extension 3. And we are synced in with Facebook. I don't know how long we'll last, but in terms of my battery, but we'll do our best. Before that, let's go up to talk to the world-famous Mr. Art from the Art Report.
Well, remember when Kmart had a blue light special?
Yes.
Well, Leominster had blue light specials today.
Where?
Well, on Day Street, the officer was writing up, and another blue light special on Hamilton Street. Very busy day for the Leominster Police Department.
Slow down.
Everywhere I went, they were writing a ticket.
And they don't just pull you over. They don't just pull you over because you're doing a few miles over the speed limit. You got to really be boogieing.
Yes. Well, believe me, I've seen a couple on Day Street that was just. I actually backed up because I said, if this idiot either loses control or thinks he's going to turn onto Judy Drive, I'm going to land in Lunenburg.
Yep.
So I backed up. But
one night on the very, the upper end near Main Street part of, it's late, and I see a car, 2 cars in front of me, and it's late, and one pulls to the left, and they start drag racing down Day Street towards Joslin. And I said, if anybody's coming up over the hill, neither one of them would back off. Clearly, somebody had to back off. But They just kept going right through Joslin. And I thought, if anybody's coming out of Joslin, there's no way. If anybody coming south on Day Street, they're done. Everybody, done.
Not only that, if certain parts of it, if the guy that's on the left lane heading towards Lunenburg, he's going to wipe out our house.
Yep. I couldn't believe it.
It's insane.
I couldn't believe it. That's why I say that. LPD isn't going to pull you over for a couple miles over the speed limit. That much I could tell you.
Yep, no question about it. Yep. In fact, I've been avoiding coming home from golf on Route 2 because we've been getting done early in the morning with the new rules up there. It cut off a lot of our golf time because we don't have to wait for anybody in front of us. And I find it only takes me 15 minutes longer to go through Fitchburg. And I just don't feel comfortable doing 70 miles an hour and getting past on Route 2.
Yeah, no, they're moving. It's the aggressive drivers, the moving to the left, the right, driving down the passing lane, then pulling into the breakdown lane. And that's everywhere. I can't believe it. Like, I'm the old guy in the breakdown lane on the right-hand side.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Because
and you
have to be
swear-
ready. You have to drive slow because I hate to sound like the old guy, but you've got to be ready in case something happens. A deer runs out in front of you, whatever, right?
That poor lady that got hit by the tires on Route 2.
Yes, she had no...
That very day, on my way to Gardner, I left Leominster at 10 past 5, because we tee off at 5:45, and I had my lights on, and for a split second, just as we call it the curve, just before No Town, I said, are those lights coming into me? Is that somebody coming in my lane? I thought for a split second. What it was a high truck.
Oh.
And he was just starting to make the turn, but it made his headlights come right into me.
Right.
And I said to myself, especially on that corner, with that slows to 45, and everybody does it about 65. When I come through there and it's heavy traffic going to work, I'm very cautious just to see if anything's coming over that cement barrier.
When I'm
be
coming
a tire
back,
or a car.
when I'm coming back from, say, Gardner or Route 31 or whatever, and I get to that turn up at No Town Reservoir, and I'm going slow because I know that turn's coming, and these tractor trailers are doing about 75, and they're just going, and I'm like, there's no way that they can make it. There's no way. And watch, you can see along the Jersey barriers, and it's just all black top, and it got a sign blinking. It says slow, steep. Not only is there a curve, but there's a hill, and still they go by me, and I'm like, how is this possible? How?
Well, the other morning I'm coming home, and I decided to take Route 2. I checked, and there wasn't much traffic, so I said, if I get up in a pocket, I'll be okay. So I got up on Route 2. And I'm coming down around just below Westminster, and I'm in the right lane. I'm doing 58 miles an hour. I got my speed control on, and I look in the mirror, and here comes a Plymouth van, and it's kind of floating, and it is boogieing. That woman went by me, and I said to myself, honey, just after the bridge, there's usually a Stady Park there. I look up, and he's there.
Oh.
She goes, she locks her brakes up, but it was only probably 50 yards before him.
Right.
And here I come putting along. I look in my mirror. He pulls right out, but he didn't put his lights on right away. And I said, he's going to be coming after her.
You're going to clock her.
And she slowed down about 55, and he no sooner got by me, cutting back in front of me, and got behind her, and on come the lights. I said, good.
Yep.
That'll teach you.
No, it's the aggressive driving. That'll do it.
Yeah, and it's not healthy. We all know that.
No,
but the fig tree, it looks like a full foliage elm.
I can taste those. Those figs are just going to melt. I'm going to keep it in my mouth and just kind of squish it around before I, to get all that fig taste in there. Oh.
And you know what happened today here? I've never seen this happen, ever, or heard it happening. I'm waiting for Rita. We had to go out. So I'm up talking to the neighbor. And I was feeding Kennedy his biscuits, the neighbor's dog. And all of a sudden I look over and I said, there's a squirrel acting kind of strange. It's going around in circles over there. I'd be careful with Kennedy out here and the children. And she says, Arthur, oh, my God, you ain't going to believe what just happened. I said, what? She says, I heard this noise in the big tree. They have a big tree in their yard. And the birds were going nuts. All of a sudden, a squirrel fell from the top of the tree, and she said he hit him with a thump. He got up, and he couldn't move his back legs. I don't know if he broke his back or his legs or what. And he kept trying to work he was pulling himself with his two front legs.
Wow.
I never saw that before.
Did he get away?
I don't know what happened, but I think her husband come out, and I said, that animal is... It's going to bite somebody. They have 3 children. And I said, it's in a lot of pain. You can see
poor
it.
thing.
And both rear feet were behind it, dragging on the ground. It had no capacity with its rear portion. I think he broke his back.
Yikes.
But I don't know what happened to it. It's not around now. So I think Jeff took care of the situation.
Yeah, boy, too bad.
But usually they're so agile. You see them on telephone wires. I saw one get blown off our transformer here one day, but that's a rarity. But strange things. But other than that, we'll let it go. And we need some thoughts to go out for the missus.
Yes?
She's got to go back for more surgery.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So we'll get through it.
Yep.
We'll get through it.
We're on your side.
Thank you, and have a good day, and be safe, behave, and say hi to everybody.
I will.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, that's Art from the Art Report, and doing a fabulous job, as always, bringing us up to date on the from the man on the street and the man on the beat. 978-537-7760. That's the number to call, extension 3. And we got all this time. Make use of it. Give me a call if you have a question on anything. We'll be glad to help you out. So just before I forget, June 20th is the Hazardous Waste Collection Day. And I'm not going to read everything, but there are some items they do take, and then there are items they don't take. And but anyway, you can find out. You know, they'll take up to 50 gallons of material per vehicle, maximum. But if you have any questions, 978-962-3558. And we will post this up on our website and also our Facebook, right? So people want to know if you haven't been tested. So maybe somebody can help me, but at Health Alliance, you have to have symptoms. If you go to Reliant, you need to have symptoms. But from what I understand is there's a place in Fitchburg, like one of those med stops, urgent care centers, or whatever you call them. I guess you can go there and get tested for the COVID. So if anybody knows, so people that go to Maine or people that just want to know whether or not, you know, I have it, and maybe I don't have a whole lot of symptoms, a number of people have been asking me, where do you go for that? Now, I know that if you were part of the rallies that were held, you can go, and I don't think there's any cost. But, Susan, if somebody hopefully will post or somebody will call and let us know where you can get tested. But a number of people have asked me the same question, so good question. I'll try to find out for you. If nobody calls in a post today, I'll find out and I'll let you know tomorrow. Caller, welcome to the show.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Crystal.
How are you?
Good, very good. It's a beautiful day out.
Yes, it is.
I hope it cools off tonight, because I like it when it cools off at night. There's a little bit of a breeze that just comes across your bed.
Yes.
That way you can keep one cover on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, I have my blanket that you gave me for my birthday, the Leominster blanket.
Oh, nice. Good for you. That's a perfect
Jillian and her mother went to the beach this week.
Who did?
Jillian.
Oh, yeah? Good for her.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine these are nice beach days tomorrow, too.
Yeah, I'm not going to the beach. I'm staying home. I don't know what's out there.
That's right. Stay home. That's a safe place.
Okay, happy Father's Day to you.
Thank you. That's right.
Have
It's
a good one,
Father's
buddy.
Day this weekend, right? Yes.
All right.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers
Can I
out there.
drop off your gift to your store on Saturday?
What's that?
I made you a gift for Father's Day.
Oh, how nice. Thank you.
It's called a joke jar.
Oh, wow, that's important. You have any jokes you want to tell anybody tonight?
What do you call a fish that can speak a foreign language?
I don't know.
Swedish fish.
Okay. Good one.
All right, take care, buddy.
All righty. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Has there been any discussion regarding the length of time that restaurants will be permitted to do outdoor dining? Let me see what the rest of that says. Thinking of investment these days. I don't think, honestly, Dave, I don't think you have to spend a lot of money to do it unless there's things internally, but I don't think you got to get real fancy. I think you can make it look fancy for not a whole lot of money, but I'd say, as far as we're concerned, as long as the state allows us to do it indefinitely. Honestly, Dave, I've been trying to get restaurants to do outdoor dining, and we have a couple that have been doing it. Gazbar does it, and then Ryan Time was doing it. But as long as, in fact, bring heaters out. I love to eat outside, so my theory is as long as we can let it happen. That's the answer to that. And I understand there's some investment, but I think there are people in town that can make things look pretty fancy for you if you put it out there and help you make it look, go out and get some plants and get some lights for at night. Cheap money, you don't have to spend a lot, and it looks like you spent, big money. So, yeah, I wouldn't be afraid of it at all. I know there's some logistics behind behind bringing the food out and serving in a different way that you used to, but people seem to like it. I was driving around today, and I couldn't believe how many people were out there. And some people have tents, but I don't know that you necessarily have to have a tent unless it rains. But for the most part, if you have an umbrella, and even at night, things quiet down. Remember, we did those dining under the stars nights, and both were really warm that day, but cooled off at night. And we had 400 to 600 people show up to these things. And I said to every restaurant, I'm like, just look, we did the market research for you. Just people love it. And, some days when it's real, hazy, hot, and humid, and it's daytime, and you stop to get something to eat, I get it. You like that air conditioning feeling, but I don't know. So my theory is do it as long as we can, and you can find the list of outdoor. I don't know, Wendy, are they on our website? But we have it on the Leominster Community Development Facebook page, and you can get a list of all the restaurants that are participating in outdoor dining. And not all have liquor license, but License Commissioner, I have to say, they met a couple of times, and they'll meet as many times as they need to grant permission for those restaurants that have a liquor license to be able to do it. So any chance we can still get a food truck festival going with proper social distancing? Yeah, possibility. We'll wait and see. I mean, we're easing our way into it, right? I mean, most people are fine. Everybody keeps their distance. We know the rules. Every once in a while, once in a while, people get really close. I'm like, whoa, let me get my mask on, right? But yeah, so yeah, we can try. Leominster Community Development on Facebook under the notes section for all restaurants and retail. But are they on the website, Wendy? And if not, maybe Michelle can get them on tomorrow so that people can see all the different restaurants. Okay, let's fill you in, because this is the day that we kind of let you know what's happening everywhere. And let's see. Tomorrow, Growing Places. Quite a few people out there yesterday getting their food, their fruits and vegetables over at the Senior Center. But tomorrow, Catholic Charities over at Catholic Charities. You need to call first at 978-840-0696. They're open from 8:30 to 4:30 at Catholic Charities. Ginny's Food Pantry, 978-537-1387. And 10 to 1. Numbers, did you give them to me, Wendy? I think she did. Hang on. I'll give you the numbers for, let's see. So state numbers. Leominster numbers are really down. What were they yesterday? They were 143. So we're dropping 3 or 4 a day. And so we're down to 140 active right now and 501 complete. Remember, those total up, but we break them down into those that are still in the cycle of either quarantine, testing positive, and then those that are off that list. And it looks like we're down 3 on the active and up 3 on the non-active. So that's good news. State cases are 199. Deaths in Massachusetts are down to 23, we're starting to get there, but still. New test, about 9,000 today. Health Alliance with 10 COVID confirmed and 4 in ICU. And Worcester cases through Worcester County are up 18. So that's good news there. So we'll continue to update you as we get information. But the numbers are going in the right direction. And but we're really going to have to be vigilant, because it's just, if we relax too much and we think, I got a little feeling that we're back to normal, and so I don't need my mask anymore, I don't need to social distance, I can start hugging and everything, that's going to bring those numbers right back up. So be vigilant. Let's get some slides going. Can we do some slides? We haven't done slides in a while. Let's do them. Okay. It's the information we just shared with you. Those are old numbers. There we are, like right in the middle. And these are communities our size. So most cities where it's more densely populated, the cases are up. But then when you get to places like Andover and Arlington, they were actually higher than us at one time, and then it shrunk. But they don't have manufacturing. There's not a whole lot of hospitality and service and medical either. So they have Watertown at 10,000 less than us with 384 cases. So actually, if you go to per 100,000, we're pretty low. On the reopening, We'll discuss that a little bit more about how the governor is sort of strategically watching the numbers. If you do not, this is for the tennis courts. So there are guidelines for the tennis courts. I drive by a couple times a day. Looks like they're adhering to the new regulations. The public libraries across the state are doing more takeout now, and they have a whole system in place. You can call them at 978-534-7522 extension 3, and there's pickup and returns, and they've got a whole thing in place, and it's 9:30 to 4 o'clock. Go to the website. You can email them or call them. Hey, the Johnny Appleseed Visitor Center is now open. Good news. Let's see, offering free crafts to go at the Leominster Public Libraries. 978-534-7522 extension 3. BALLFIELD information, phase 2, providing leagues follow state and CDC guidelines, which the Recreation Department put out. We are in phase 2. Phase 3 should be starting soon, right? I know that some of the small instructional gyms are allowed to open, but I think we're very close to hitting phase 3. Resources to purchase. So if you're a business and you're having a hard time getting supplies and you have to pay $5 for a little bottle of hand sanitizer, go to mass.gov, and they have a whole site set up where they can help you. They'll pair you up with other businesses that aren't going to rake you over the coals. No matter what phase, all businesses are asked to follow and comply. Right? Same thing. We know this. 6 feet apart, wear your mask if you can, provide hand washing capabilities, sanitize. Restaurants better have hot water in their bathrooms or they're going to be in trouble. Clean bathrooms. Again, reopening is driven by the following factors. They've been taking those, averaging in the 3-day average deaths, which actually were down to 18 and now up, I think, to 22, but still watching the ICU surge. We were down to 1, up to 4. I don't think that's anything really to worry about too much. I'm not saying minimizing the fact that family members have loved ones that are in the hospital, but I'm just saying in terms of it's not out of control, and the numbers still fluctuate up and down below 5 and then back up to 3 or 4, etc. Same thing with restaurants. I drive by these restaurants and I'm impressed. There's some more of your outdoor dining in Leominster. There's some more of the businesses that are participating, and more and more every day on retail. There's this whole thing with 8 persons, including staffers, per 1,000 square feet. I don't know. It seems to me that places like TJ Maxx are pretty busy, and Home Goods and Marshalls. I don't know if they're following those guidelines, but I know the mall was like 40%. It's quiet down there right now. Not that there's nobody there, but Burlington, I guess, is giving. There's a lot of businesses giving great deals, but let's not forget our little businesses, our small shops in Leominster. They 13 weeks shut down. They could all use some help. So give them a chance. Or at least, one thing I say about small business, you can negotiate with them. Child care and organized sports. Again, anything you see here, you can go on our website, leominster-ma.gov, and we will, all of this information is there. So you can always go, if you need guidance, to the cdc.gov/coronavirus, and they have guidance there for schools, workplace, restaurants and bars, youth programs and camps, mass transit, child care programs. People ask, so what's school going to look like? Well, I mean, there's a bunch of things, but let's face it, right? You've got narrow hallways entering the buildings and only one entrance, so they may have to look at opening other entrances. But what's wrong with looking at some of the church halls? So what is wrong with having a couple kindergartens or first grade classes, 10 to 15, and have them broken up and down to one of the churches, or even the hall at City Hall, or how about the library? There are a lot of places that we can sort of spread people out. So a lot of things that we can do. And at the end of the day, they will be people that are not comfortable, regardless of the situation, who decide that they're going to homeschool. And there may even be teachers that maybe have a pre-existing condition that don't feel comfortable as well. And so, but in the meantime, Gymnasiums, we don't need to have gym. This is much more important that we space out students. So, maybe we space them out. Maybe there's some, a combination of distance learning. And when we, myself and the city council, appropriated the funding for 250 Chromebooks at the time, that was a year and a half, 2 years ago, the purpose was that I felt that we needed to build this network of an ability for our students to be able to learn from wherever they were. Why do you just need to learn from 8:30 in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning and then not learn at lunchtime, but then learn again in the afternoon? And you can't learn during the summer, and you can't learn during vacation. Not the case at all, right? I mean, we see people work from anywhere in the world right now. There are people everywhere working. Today, I couldn't believe it. I was doing business with somebody and getting information for a project for the city, and lo and behold, the person was like 8 states away. And I said, you mean you're not here? And they're like, no. I'm like, it doesn't matter where you are, but so let's right, with lifelong learning. And so what I'd like to see is that system just like this. Look at the technology we have here at our local access television. Wouldn't it be nice if we could set up class remotely like this? And I'm not saying every class, because you can't do it with every class. Just like in college, you have amphitheaters, right? Sometimes it's 300 people, and we're taking a particular class all together, and those are achievable. And then there are other classes that you need smaller class sizes, but the same thing, right? Could you have a class size of 1,000 people out there? Don't people get their MBAs and their degrees online? So nationally, we've got to build that system where, as I said before, at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we've got English for second graders. And we get on, and some of the best teachers here, some of the best teachers in the world are teaching English, right? And because every kid learns a little bit differently. And so that's the system we have to build. That's what we had in mind 2 years ago. That was the plan, so that we could remotely learn and not just during the school day. Hey, we can always go to a system where you're on for some different parts of the country. You go to school a certain amount of time, then you're off, then you go to school, then you're off, right? You could do that. So there are a lot of different ways to learn. It isn't just in the classroom. That's the best place to learn. But when you don't have the logistics to be able to do that, then obviously you have to seek other alternatives. Look at that, June 18th. Where did March go? Where did April go? Where did May go? Where did the first half of June go? 978-534-7500. Phone lines are open. Give us a buzz, extension 0. Let's go hit some more slides, guys. So we were talking about this yesterday. So under the CARES Act, the school department, people were asking, well, where are you going to get all this materials and all this cleaning equipment and supplies? Well, there's $1.2 million from the CARES Act for the Leominster Public Schools and $3.6 million from the CARES Act for the city of Leominster. So there are standards for schools, and then there is a pocket of money for the city. Some things you can only use for the school money. Some things you can only use it for municipalities. But what we're contemplating now is getting the rest of the Chromebooks that are needed for the rest of the students that do not have them. And we'll talk more about that in later days, but that's one of the things that we're looking at. But okay, let's go. We haven't done the dashboard for a little while here in terms of indicators. So right now, the 7-day weighted average positive test rate is 92%. The 3-day average of number of COVID patients in the hospital is minus 71. I'm sorry, that was minus 92% from where we were. And the number of hospitals using surge capacity or reaching surge capacity is at minus 90%. And the 3-day average of COVID deaths is obviously dropped down significantly. So there's our daily and cumulative confirmed and probable cases. We're really down there. Look at it. I mean, we started out in March, and man, we was up there and dropped a few days, and then right back up there. And then we stayed in that surge a lot longer than anybody anticipated, but gradually made our way down. Testing by date, total number of individuals with at least one molecular test performed by date. And you see there's some ups and downs, and even yesterday was like 6,000 tested, and then today was 9, and I know they want to be much higher than that. Numbers of individuals tested by antibody by test date, rate per 100,000 total COVID-19 cases date by county. And that's the we want to see that dark blue go away. We want to see light blue, right? And we're in the middle blue, the sort of Leominster blue, and we want to see that sort of go away. And there's your daily and cumulative COVID-19 hospitalizations. Right now, we were up to thousands. Right now, 998. And your daily COVID-19 hospital admissions, you can see there's your colors there again, lower being less in the lighter colors, and then obviously on the taller colors. So there's your hospital admissions, daily and cumulative COVID-19 intensive care and incubators, 227 that are currently in intensive care, and 135 currently incubated, which still is, I mean, I guess when you're looking and you're in the thousands, 227 doesn't seem like a lot, but if your loved one's in the hospital and confirmed or have, more importantly, incubated, it's serious. So daily and cumulative deaths, and obviously it looks like it's dropped and then it sort of levels off, but total right now at 7,734. And then we see later on in the slides that most of that is life care and nursing homes, assisted living, veterans homes. There's our cases and case rate by age group, and the average age is still around 52, really hasn't dropped much. Those hospitalized around 68. So you can see on the left, those are those who cases reported as hospitalized by age group, but the average age is 68, and then you really take that climb of those that are younger, and then you reach that 70, and it jumps up to 1,700, but really nothing compared to those that are over the age of 80 years old. So 81 years old is the average age right now. That's actually an improvement. Deaths and deaths by county, deaths by sex and previous hospitalization and underlying conditions. Again, 53% for males, it went up a little bit, and females are at 47%, I think. I can't really see that little lettering over there, but it's pretty much the same. Total deaths with previous hospitalization, there's your numbers right there at 4,236, and then again, total deaths with underlying conditions, 3,643, and look at that number there. And we're not really sure by death by hospitalization. Obviously, total deaths are more elderly, those in the hospital, more elderly or pre-existing conditions, but it's the race and ethnicity part, and I don't know whether that's sort of culturalist. We're more apt to want to hug or get close or to handshake or whatever, and in certain ethnic groups, it's a hard thing to pull oneself away from because it's so centered on that. So I don't know why. I mean, obviously we know how you catch it, so you have to be around somebody unprotected for a pretty, 15 minutes or so, 10 or 15 minutes before you're getting this. So hard to say what that means, but we'll have to take a look at that later on. And there's our total COVID cases in long-term care, right off the charts at 4,875. Total hospital capacity, still testing at Health Alliance, even on the weekends, 10 to 2, 8 to 4, got to have some symptoms or have been exposed to somebody that had symptoms and tested positive. Same thing at Reliant, give them a call. They'll walk you through the process, tell you whether you can come in or not. Hey, did anybody post? Did you guys notice if anybody posted? My phone died again, so I can't see, but that's neither here nor there. But if anybody sees any post, let me know, and I will read them for you. 978-537-7760, number 978-5377. There it is, extension 0. Let's do some more slides, kids. Local update, transfer station. Hey, the transfer station is now open on Saturdays, 8 to 11:30. New, June 20th will be Hazardous Waste Day, 9 to 2. I said that. New, Leominster Recreation Department is open for registration. Go to their website, leominster-ma.gov, 978-534-7529. Starburst postponed till August 22nd. Graduation is August 1st. Tax information, taxes were already due, but if you have any other bills that came in after the 10th, they are due by the end of June. Thank you, Bradley. Oh, look at you. I keep saying I'm going to bring in my little machine. Thank you. Oh, man, I love this thing. This is the best. Let me just look and see if anybody had any questions at all. No? Unless this is updated, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. If you have any questions, you can just post them on Facebook. More slides. Okay. Here we go again. This program has helped a lot of kids. And I had to thank, we raised a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars. And this fund was set up specifically to get an electronic device in the hands of kids who never would ever have the chance to have one in their home. This isn't something that the school gives you and loans to you. This is something that belongs to you. And I can tell you, every time one of these things was given out, kids and their families said, wait a minute, we could actually keep these? And they held on to these things like they were bars of gold. And so how do we hook you up? Well, we go to, because you got to have internet, right? Because it's no good if you just have an electronic device. But you go to Comcast Essentials, you call them at 1-855-846-8376. And if you haven't been a customer for 3 months and you qualify, they will give you free internet access. 1-855-846-8376. Stimulus checks, if you don't get direct deposit, then you can go to the IRS, and there's a whole site set up. Just tell me to get your check, pump it in the search bar there, and they'll come up with all this cool information. Registry of motor vehicles, delayed a lot. Check the website first. Licenses, but you do have to, if you have a driver's license and ID cards, including commercial driver's license and CDLs that expired or will expire by the end of May, they will now expire in 2020 of September. That's how far they've pushed that ahead. So, who is leaf pickup in the champions? Oh, we're going to do that tomorrow. We're going to let you know who the winners are that rake the most amount of leaves. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, time for Dr. Mazzaro's boot camp. Remember, assume you have the virus. Assume everyone you come in contact with has the virus. Assume all surfaces are somehow or another compromised. Wear your mask if you can't keep 6 foot distance, and wash your hands and always hand sanitize. Thank you for donating. I was just saying we raised tens of thousands of dollars to get electronic device in the hands of those students that would never, and you don't have to be a student of Leominster schools, but you need to be a Leominster resident and be a student somewhere. And can we blow that up? Beautiful days for hiking and visiting our parks. I went this morning, did my little morning update from the Mechanic Street Park. What a beautiful place it is. I hope you got a chance to sort of take a peek, but stop by a place where, we had a lot of people there during the day today, and all along, people love the park. They've been taking care of it. No vandalism. Really, it's impressive. Anyway, if you haven't visited our parks, leominster-ma.gov, they'll tell you everything you need to know. And then maybe you even want to join the Trail Stewards. We have a group called the Leominster Trail Stewards. They do great things. They help us out. They're a partner of ours, and they help us on the trail. So again, leominster-ma.gov, and find out that information. There we are on the census. We're 67.1. We're almost there. We've got to get everybody's home. Oh, you were home. Fill them out. Get them off the counter. Get them off the junk drawer. All right. So at first, I tried to make it as simple as I could to explain. I get it. There's just so much information, so many people saying things. World moves so quickly. Let's go to the slide, and this is the best way that I can explain it. So year to year, our new funds, our new revenue. So at work, let's say you get a raise. That's your new source of revenue, right? So you were making $60,000 and you got a $2,000 raise. You now have a $2,000 increase, $2,000 that you can spend next year. So our sources of new revenue is new growth. New growth comes when you see people putting additions on, or if factories are putting buildings up. If you see new businesses opening, whether it's bricks and mortar. New growth means an expansion of the tax base. So that's $700,000. Under Prop 2.5, when we raise taxes 2.5%, that equals $2 million. So the total amount of money new dollars that we have to spend for 2021, and is a total of $2.7 million. And let me just take it to the next slide. If you fully fund the school committee request, that would equal an 8.5% tax rate increase. Why? Because each 2.5% brings in $2 million, and they're up at 5.8 or so. So we're already assuming. So how'd you get to 8.5? We're already assuming a 2.5% increase in the budget this year, and that 2.5%, yep, brings in $2 million. You add the $700,000 in new growth, and actually we've had some cuts because of hotel room tax is dropped, so that's actually a cut for this year. So anyway, if you've got $2 million and we've already sort of included $1.1 million in the budget, so it comes out to an 8.5 increase in the tax rate. Because as much as City Council and myself might want to fund other things, the budget for the school department has gone up 5.7 million, is it? And so that is way beyond the 2.7 million. And remember, we have 2.7 million to share with all departments across the city, 17 different other departments within the city. So I hope that is why you hear the concern in the voices of the City Council yesterday, myself. That's why we are concerned, because we want better for our schools. We want the schools to have as much as we possibly can, but they see the number. So as setting up at a budget, as I explained this morning, you got to start with something. What's our source of revenues? 2.7 million this year. That's the extent, and that includes that includes a 2.5% increase in Proposition 2.5 this year. So we have 2.7 million to spend, in addition to what we had last year total. And then if you want to fully fund the budget for the schools, it's 8.5% increase. And why don't we use the rainy day account? Because none of the expenditures are one-time revenues. So what would happen, the city's total budget this year increased by, on the city side, increased by 1.9%. Our local contribution to the schools was 4%. I also heard that City of Leominster barely spends enough on net school spending. I went back to 17. We spent 1.7 million over net school spending. I went back to 18, and it's 2 million in net school spending. And then I went to fiscal year 19, and we were 2.4 million over net school spending. The same time period, $100 million in improvements to buildings, no cost to the taxpayers. And we spend between 18% and 33% of all of our free cash from the last 10 years goes to schools. And schools receive approximately 64% of the city budget. In other words, people say, no, there's the state money. No. Of all the tax money that the city brings in from the taxpayers from Leominster, it's 64% of our budget. But as you can see there, just so you understand, free cash you can use for some things like busing, but people want us to use the rainy day account, but that will be depleted very quickly, and it doesn't solve the problem because they are fixed cost. So it's like heat in your house. If you decide to just wipe that out and say, we don't need any heat, let's zero that out. Well, guess what? You're probably going to find out that you're going to need that heat, and you're going to have to pay for it either way. So you can use one-time money, but that problem still exists. It doesn't go away like heat. You got to pay it next year. You know it's going to be $500, $1,000, $2,000. It's got to be there somewhere. So that gives you a little, I hope, a better understanding. But I just don't know why. I mean, people start circulating this misinformation, and then it just gets passed on. It's like phone tag. City barely spends any money on schools, barely meets net school spending. Well, that's all information that's gathered from DESE. 17, 1.7 million. Check around to see other gateway communities, what they spend over net school spending. Do you know, one time some try to say that we're the only ones that we spent the lowest amount on students as anybody. And then I started looking at the website, and DESE website, and I find out there are, especially gateway cities, which one, that don't even meet net school spending. In fact, they're negative in net school spending. And for the last 8 to 10 years, they've met it once. So anyway, hopefully this is information that helps. But if anybody asks it, you can tell them if you want to fully fund the school, what the school committee requested, it would equal an 8.5% increase in your taxes. Okay? Raise taxes if you have to. Well, get out your tax bill and figure it out. And then, I'm fine. Listen, if people feel like we should raise taxes, do it. I got no issue. If people don't, I'm okay. What I have an issue with is just we need to have the information, right? And there are plenty of communities that, raise taxes for education, raise taxes for the fire and police and DPW and everything else. But I just want everybody to have the information. And then everybody can express their opinions, and we can all be respectful of those opinions. Okay, let's do photos of the week. Hey, there we are. Look at that. Orchard Street, heading down towards Walnut, getting their paving done. And project's going very well. Bartell Street under construction for water lines. Mount Pleasant Ave for water lines. These streets will be paved after once everything's done. Walnut Street is getting paved. Remember, we did the water, the sewer, the gas lines. Everything's done, and now they're getting paved. Hey, Flag Day. It was sort of strange because, kind of sad because, we just went out there just to, do the old, celebrate the flag. It wasn't a political event. Mike Cooley over at the TAP said, we do it every year. Let's do it again this year. And social distancing, you can see everybody unless they're family or, pretty spaced out. And people were reluctant to kind of thumbs up or toot the horn. I don't know if they thought we like making a political statement of some sort. But so that was the first year that I've ever seen that. And I could tell, I didn't do any scientific research, but people were really hesitant to, toot the horn or the thumbs up or whatever. And I think they just didn't want to, get involved in something political. I think people have had it and they just want away from it. So I understand, but that's all it was, is Flag Day was Saturday. We were out, Sunday, we were out there on Monday celebrating the United States flag. Downtown Flowers, we are at it. Thank you to everybody who contributes to us. We have a great partnership with Paul Cavecchio at Cavecchio's. They have a branch operation up there on what an incredible operation they have up there on Union Street. And we have a great partnership. They are so generous to us. And they are always bragging about us and talking to other communities about our flowers and how, this is not a small town and how wonderful it looks here. So Sally and Larry and everybody else down at the DPW and everybody else that helps out, because it's really a team effort. City Hall employees, everyone and everybody who donates to this fund. Can't thank you enough. And wait, you see this year. We're ahead. I think we're ahead this year, this time of year. Things are going well, and the sun is helping. We're keeping it watered. We watered 7 days a week. So thank you. It really does set the tone, right? It sets the tone for the city. Clean and neat and flowers and beautiful. And we hear the feedback constantly. I can't wait. I am the cheap guy in town. And we got these pictures. I remember it so well. Anybody remember old-fashioned bargain days? Remember that? I remember going and getting clothes and getting really good deals on clothes. I remember Shacks in Fitchburg. Boy, you could get some deals when they had the old-fashioned, I guess they called it Civic Days, but they're old-fashioned bargain days. Well, we expanded it to the whole city. So in other words, if your business is in North Leominster, South Leominster, West, wherever you are, even if you're not downtown, we've expanded this to all businesses, all restaurants, all pop-up artists, whoever it might be, with the stipulation that you gotta, it's gotta be a good deal, right? So I'm excited about this. I'll be out there spending. I'm rolling up my pennies and nickels right now, and I'll convert them into hard cash, and I will be out there looking for good deals. Yeah, we did. We did have an amazing day. We had two of these gatherings. I'll call them gatherings because they were done well and with all of the right intentions. and they were at in front of City Hall, and then a march from Doyle Field over to City Hall went perfect, and then over at Carter Park, just two good events. Got a chance, I think everybody got a chance to talk to people they didn't know, and everybody shared their opinions, and nobody was disrespectful for anything, and there was hope for the future. And what I said the other day on my morning briefing is I'd like to turn this into something. And obviously, we want to look at what we're doing well in the community and how we can improve. And as I've said right along, we do that, but we do it all the time. So it's not like, it's like updating the capital improvements account. It says by law, every 5 years you have to update it. We update it like every month, really. We update it at least every year. Why wait every 5 years? Why not have that document change as we need it to? So maybe some good things, because there were some wonderful people with great talents. And one of my ideas is just look at all of that talent out there. That's what I see when I look out there. I see artists and creative people and brilliant brains and great minds and happy smiles, and that's what I see out there. And I think one of the things, if possible, if possible, I say, how about helping students after school and tutoring and maybe mentoring these kids who sometimes struggle? And just think of the talents that are out there in those pictures. Just think what a difference they can make in some kid's life, because it's not just about an electronic device that you hand to somebody and say, here's the gateway to the world, and here you go. But imagine somebody that could help them apply that. And there is so much talent right there. It's overwhelming, the amount of talent that are in those pictures. And if we could just turn that into something, if we can turn it into making our community better, if we can turn those very people that are out there to our next elected officials, if we can turn them into our next police officers and firefighters and teachers, and right, the whole gamut, people working at City Hall, working at Health Alliance and Reliant and all the medical facilities here. And how about the nonprofits? And I always say, if you can be generous and donate your time, if you don't have time but you have money and you could donate the money, it does. It makes a huge, huge difference. So those are some of the things that we're beginning to have conversation with. There is a Leominster Community Coalition, and we are working with them, also the Haitian American group, and we are going to sponsor, we don't have a date yet, but just a celebration of unity in our community, and a celebration of our diversity. And those are two wonderful things to celebrate. At the same time, open-minded, we become listeners, we look to see how we can improve to make a better city, right? Isn't that every day? So let me share with you. This is kind of cool, right? I like to tell stories once in a while. I know we're gonna run out of time. Let's get through the pictures first. We haven't seen, oh, that was the last one? Okay. So our friends at We Love You Too Foundation, that is an international group. And they are, and I miss them. We usually have a couple of, we have them on the show, but we have a couple of events during the year that we get out to and work together on. And because of the COVID, we weren't able to do that this year. So, but we have stayed in communication, and I need to, chat with them back. But they are an incredible organization that goes out to the community and to make a difference. From a mother's heart is how We Love You Too Foundation started, right? And so, they have done things in communities around the world, and they do it together, and they do it as a team. And so if people are interested in that kind of giving back, I'd like to get them back on here soon on the show, so that we can get going again on another project here in the city. But again, it's been difficult because of the COVID, and this has been their season. But they've come out in the middle of summer and they've worked on projects, and I've called them and said, listen, why don't you cancel? It's supposed to be like 98 tomorrow and hazy, hot, and humid, and it's Sunday. And, why don't we, I wouldn't be upset if we pushed the date ahead. And you know what? They came out here. And they are a hardcore group of they are so diverse and loving of each other, and what a wonderful thing. So hopefully we can get them back out here. Hopefully we can get them back on as guests. If there's anybody watching on my show from City Hall, kind of mark that down for me for tomorrow, and we will reach out to see if we can't get them back on so we can get this sort of chemistry going again. I was gonna tell you a little story, but I'm just about out of time, and it wouldn't be fair for me to try to sort of give you that story without giving the full story, so we'll have to just end that way. But a beautiful night tonight and the weekend. Get out, use that stimulus money to get to some of the restaurants in town, get out to some of the local businesses. And as I've said, we're going to lose a couple of businesses. There are no question about it. Some will retire. Some will just say, you know what, I can't make my way through this. I can't recover. But there are new businesses starting. There are new entities. There are always people calling the City Hall. They haven't given up hope, but also in business, they're looking for opportunities. Hey, how about those people that sell all that windshield paint? How about them? How about all these people doing all these graduations, drive-by graduations and all? How would you like that? It costs like 10 cents for a bottle. I sell it for like 3. Okay, out of time here at Inside Leominster. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Bradley and Keith back there, and Alan and Carl, and thank you. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. You need to show up. Good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you through the generous support of Colonial Insulation Company, residential and commercial insulation and fireproofing services, specializing in blown-in cellulose as well as spray foam insulation. For more information, visit their website, colonialinsulation.com, and by Medical Arts Hearing Instruments, 52 West Street in Leominster, locally and authentically providing better hearing and quality of life since 1978. www.donotshout.com.